So this is the continuation of Misera's report. This is all about excerpt from 1947 military agreement. So 1947 military basis agreement between the U.S. and the Philippines allowed the U.S. to maintain military bases in Philippines despite granting the country's independence in 1946. Negotiations began in 1943 while the Philippines government was in exile. The agreement was justified on the ground of peace, mutual defense, and military cooperation. So despite opposition from those who saw it as inconsistent with Philippines' independence. So in the primary source, this is the summarization. So first is mutual defense. So the shared interest of both countries in defending their territories and promoting mutual security, particularly in a context of war in the Pacific. Next is cooperation. So the desire for cooperation in common defense aligned with the objectives of the United Nations. So this is the Philippines granting land to the U.S. for military bases. Next is Philippines request for assistance. So the Philippines request for U.S. assistance in defending the country and developing its armed forces. So next is U.S. response. So the U.S. agreement to provide assistance, including military missions and establishments of bases. So the next one is joint resolutions. So references to joint resolution passed by both U.S. Congress and the Philippine Congress. So authorizing the establishments of these bases. So these resolutions emphasize the goals and territorial integrity, mutual protection, and maintaining peace in the Pacific. So it is the agreement between the U.S. and the Philippines. So concerning the establishment of U.S. military bases in Philippines. So emphasizing the mutual security and interest, and cooperative efforts also involves. Now let's talk about these articles. First is Article 1. Details in the Philippines Agreement to grant base access with provision for negotiation regarding expansion, exchange, or relinquishment of bases. So next is Article 3. So specifies the extensive rights, power, and authority the U.S. will have within the around these bases, including construction, operation, and control of surrounding areas, while ensuring minimal interference with Philippine negotiation and travel. So next is Article 12. So Article 12 addresses jurisdictional issues concerning offenses committed on or near U.S. military bases in the Philippines. So the Philippines grant the U.S. jurisdiction over offenses within the bases except with both offender and offended are Filipino citizens, not U.S. military. And the offense isn't against Philippine security. So the U.S. also has jurisdiction over offenses outside in the bases committed by its armed forces members if the offended party is also a member of the U.S. armed force. So, or if the offense is against Philippine security, the agreement includes provision for the U.S. to relinquish jurisdiction in specific situation with notification procedures and option for appeal. So, um, let's talk about in wartime, the U.S. gained exclusive jurisdiction over offenses committed by its armed force in the Philippines. So now let's proceed in Article 14. So in Article 14 outline procedures for arrest and service of process within the bases, so requiring permissions from the base commander unless the U.S. has a jurisdiction. So, and now let's proceed to Article 19. So, Article 19 addresses commercial concerns granting the U.S. rights to use base facilities for defense purposes. So next is Article 28. So in Article 28, it allows the U.S. to recruit and train Filipino citizens for its armed force. Then the final article is the Article 29. So it is established the agreement term as 99 years subject to extension and includes the signatures of the prospective representatives. Date March 14, 1947. So that's all for the articles. So now let's proceed to the Proclamation number 51 by President Manuel Rojas. So this excerpt describes the context of Proclamation number 51 issued by the Philippines President Manuel Rojas. So it focuses on the period following the Japanese occupation of the Philippines during World War II. The proclamation background involves the difficult situation in the Philippines faced recovering from the war, to rebuilding infrastructure and navigating complex relations with the U.S. So a significant aspect was the issues of collaborations with the Japanese during the occupation. So President Quezon sent some government officials to exile to ensure their safety. So after the war and the U.S. regaining control, the Commonwealth government established a people court to prosecute alleged war crimes, including those accused of collaborating with the Japanese. So the excerpt highlights the complicities of the period, including the trial of prominent Filipinos accused of treasonable collaboration. So the importance lies in the understanding the post-war political and legal landscape in the Philippines. So the challenges of reconciliation and the process of dealing with the alleged collaborators with the enemy. This is the preamble to Proclamation number 51, a Philippines proclamation granting amnesty. So it cites several various clauses justifying the amnesty. So many Filipino were indicated for collaborating with the Japanese during World War II, but lengthy trials yielded no convictions due to legal hurdles to witness rules in treason cases, and a Supreme Court ruling publication opinion has shifted, with many believing that collaborations was often done out of a patriotic duty to protect Filipinos from Japanese atrocities. So, therefore, the proclamation argues that amnesty is warranted given the lack of convictions, the passage of time, and a changes in public understanding of the collaborators' action. So, this document is significant because it reveals the complex political and social climate in the Philippines after World War II. So, it highlights the difficult process of a reconciliation and dealing with the legacy of collaboration under Japanese occupation. So, the amnesty itself was a crucial political decision aimed at national healing and moving forward after traumatic period. So the proclamation's certifications offers insight into the evolving perspective on wartime collaboration and the challenges of establishing justice and achieving national unity. So it argues the persecuting these cases is now unjustified due to legal obstacles in proving treason. So the lack of convictions after lengthy trials and a growing public understanding that many acts of collaborations were motivated by a desire to protect fellow Filipinos from Japanese atrocities. So the proclamation grant full and complete amnesty to those accused of any offense against national security, except for those who actively took up arms against the Allied forces or committed other serious crimes. So the proclamation concludes with the President's signature and date of January 28, 1948. So it's demonstrate the government's attempts to address the divisive issue of collaborations. So acknowledging the complexities of the situation and prioritizing national unity over strict legal retribution of amnesty was significant political act with a long-lasting implication for the nation's so healing process and its relationship with its wartime past. So the legal um, justifications offered provide insight into the challenges of applying legal frameworks to the unique circumstances of wartime collaborations.